Hi, Raamla. Hi,
Hi.
Emayatzy.
Hi,
How are you?
Good, how
good.
are
How are
you?
you?
I'm great. It's a pleasure to be discussing your new legal series, Reasonable Doubt, and just so excited to meet you. So, congrats on that.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So, I want to take it back for a quick moment, and I want to ask you both, what was your first, like, not big break, but your first break into the industry in both of your writing as well as acting?
Oh,
Well, for me, the biggest break that opened the doors for me was a movie I did called Middle of Nowhere with Ava DuVernay back in 2012, I think it was.
for me, I guess, well, it's funny because I guess I was trying, well, this is, so I used to work for the Los Angeles Sparks as a promotions coordinator. And they let me write the the PA announcements between between the timeouts and stuff like that. And I would get really excited because I would try to come up with little puns and different things. So that was like the first one I realized, like, oh, I think I like this kind of writing thing. But as far as in the industry, my first job was as a writer's PA, season 6 of Grey's Anatomy, and that kind of started my entryway into working in television. And I moved my way up and eventually became a writer on Scandal.
Nice. And how did I want to direct this to Raamla? How did the idea for Reasonable Doubt come to be? And how did you get involved with the Onyx collection on Hulu?
So first of all, Sean Hawley, who's an inspiration for the series, she met with Larry Wilmore and Kerry Washington, and they wanted to do a show about her. So they kind of came to me. I obviously worked with Kerry from Scandal and then Little Fires Everywhere. And so, yeah, so we started developing the show. And the pandemic kind of happened, so we're trying to develop it for streaming. And then Onyx Collective was just kind of getting started, and Tara Duncan, wanted to read the script that I had written, and she really liked it, and yeah, and then everything kind of happened very very fast. And then they wanted to make it their first scripted show, so it was all very very exciting because they had were kind of just starting on this path with their programming, and so I'm just been very happy to be kind of a part of that and launching, and they just won an Oscar, so I'm hoping, look, they have an Oscar, maybe this will be a hit, and it'll just be like it'll just be like all we do is gold, so
Absolutely. And Emayatzy, I want to ask you, your name's so beautiful. What is the history or the meaning behind your name first?
Thank you. It's from, my dad gave me the name. My dad's from Panama, my mom's from Ohio, and there's a story of this princess in Panama named Emayatzy that he wanted to name me. But my mom didn't like that, so he took her mother's name, Emma, and Emayatzy, and made Emayatzy.
Nice, very beautiful.
Thank you.
And you're playing Jax, this high-powered attorney in LA, which seems, she seems to have these questionable ethics at first, but she's holding her own in this white-dominated, legal industry. So can you tell us about your character and how you got involved with playing her?
Yeah, Jax she's powerful, she's successful, she's very confident, she's very driven. And she's just a very self-confident woman, in all aspects of her life, for better or for worse. And I kind of came to this project, I got the script, I was getting ready to do another job. I thought that was sold and done. And then I got this script, and that just kind of changed everything. I read it and said, oh my gosh, absolutely. Yes. How can I do this? And so went through the audition process with Kerry and Raamla and Larry, everyone. And here we are now.
And she just nailed it. It was just not even a question.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen quite a few of the episodes, so
oh,
very
nice.
wonderful writing, and she absolutely nailed it.
Oh, thank you.
And Raamla, you're known for working on Scandal and Little Fires Everywhere, and outside of having a majority Black lead cast in this series, how is this story similar or different from those projects?
Well, I will say, I'm working with, Shonda Rhimes and Liz Tigalar. I learned a lot about just, writing and character and, storytelling. I went to USC for my master's, but I always say my real master class, right, was working in television and having to actually do the job. So I feel like as far as similarities, I really think that those shows are so character driven, even as twisty or as, kind of addictive as they are. And I really learned that you have to make sure that you have characters that are real and complex, and that you as the creator and showrunner know who your characters are, so that you can actually create something that audiences can connect to. So I think as far as that, those are the similarities. But as far as differences, I mean, again, like I really wanted to show a woman having a really full life, with career and friendships and a partner, and having to balance all those things. And also, and being a little messy, everyone loves a messy, a messy character, because, they can both relate, but also distance
Yes.
themselves a bit, it's a back and forth. And yeah, I just feel like TV is really, should be experienced by a bunch of people, whether they're together or not, and have something to talk about, and some joy to share.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a little further down, but I'll ask you now. This is a story that, you can see your, grabbing your girlfriends with wine time and, diving into the drama. And we see so many projects like this, like Sex and the City. And, now we're getting to tell our stories. And, why is it important for us to be able to tell these stories? And, possibly other demos should be tuning in, because they're not so different from their own.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I loved about, shows like Insecure, or even like, The Cosby Show, or whatever, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, these shows that were, these Black shows, is that you would hear, other races be like, my favorite show is, Insecure, like, white women saying it. And it's because there was something that they could relate to, the friendships, or just the basic humanness, right? The humanity of these shows. And the same way, like we said, Sex and the City, like there weren't any Black people on Sex and the City. And I was, probably too young to, be getting Manolo Blahniks, but at the same time, I still was able to relate because the characters were so, interesting and rich. And so, yeah, so for me, I really, really, that experience of watching TV and seeing yourself in television on screen is super important to me, and it shapes kind of who you are and your experiences at times. Like I remember watching Sex and the City, and and with my friends, I even remember watching Lemonade when my friends, when it debuted. It's a shared communal experience.
Absolutely. And Jack, excuse me, Emayatzy,
Just Jack, you're Jack.
You're playing the character so well. How can fans be possibly inspired by Jax's character? I mean, she is challenging the industry. And is there anything that we can expect, any teasers you can drop on some of the drama to unfold?
Well, I think as far as how people can be, inspired by Jax, she's good at her job. She does well at her job, and she takes it seriously. I think there's something to aspire to in that regard. To see a woman of her stature, she's a partner at this law firm. She's had to work hard to get to that space. There is certainly something to esteem about her as a result of that. And then I think, even just where she is just as a mother, and juggling all of these different things, I think there's a lot of aspects of Jax that we can really look up to, and women can find themselves, see themselves and say, hey, you know what? She's doing it. I'm doing it. That's what I love about it. It's not, she has the mess. She has all of that as well, like we all do. But I think at the end of the day, she is a woman who is, I believe, a great example in a lot of different ways, especially with her career, and how she approaches being a mother.
Absolutely. Ladies, thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and wishing you both the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.